Hi everyone, today I want to show off the new Hydra Sorc from the Season 9 PTR. This is a build that I've tried the first and it's actually really strong. So you see here right now, this is like a pit 85 that I can relatively easily clear, even all the way up to 90 plus of this. And this is not even what I think is the best version of this build. So I've been trying to make a crit based Hydra, but it turns out that actually going for burn and dot synergy seems to be even stronger than that. I heard of people clearing even a pit 100, which is basically top tier in Season 9. As you may know, they have nerfed a lot of builds, including all of the overpower builds, and targeted nerfs to all of the top builds like Death Trap and the blood builds on Necro and so on. So a lot of stuff is going down, and around pit 100 is actually like among the best builds in the game. So right now this is actually looking really good for the Hydras, and I want to show you off a little bit how this performed and how it plays. So the TLDR of this is we try to stack a lot of mana regen, which you can do through the primordial binding passive. And for example, there's a season power that gets a mana regen, or you can put it on the boots. And that is enough to kind of fill your entire resource in like 2-3 seconds or so. And then you try to dump a huge Hydra that consumes all of your mana from the new Serpentine aspect. So together with that and the new unique neck, the Ophidian Iris, you make these large Hydras that have only 3 heads, but they scale with the number of heads that they would have had, which is mostly coming from the neck itself and more importantly on the weapon temper. So you can get up to 12 extra heads there, and each extra head would increase the damage of the 3-headed Hydra that comes out of it and makes it larger. They actually look very funny. They're really large Hydras, they're like twice the size of a character. And well, they kind of just destroy everything. You can also farm with this pretty well. I've been doing some speedruns, for example, in like pit 70, 75. So I can do them in like 1 minute, 90 seconds or something like that. So it actually goes pretty fast if you go in for like a lot of cooldown, teleport enchant, and just kind of fly through the maps. And that works pretty well. Here's such an example. So you kind of like just like throw the Hydras, wait for the mana to fill, and then cast your Inferno, and that's about it. It's a relatively passive playstyle, to be fair. You just kind of like run, throw the Hydra, that's it. Which also makes it maybe a little bit too boring when it comes to like a pushing playstyle. I feel like with the Hydras lasting that long, you kind of just don't really do anything most of the time. You just run circles and try to dodge because you have to wait for your Hydras to do stuff. On the burning setup, this is a little bit alleviated because you can actually spam other skills. For example, you would probably include like a fire wall, which increases the damage taken to enemies. Same with fire bolt, you can try to apply that, you get another burning multiplier. So there is a bit more active playstyle involved compared to the crit variant that I was doing here. So I will also put that into my planner. I have this here that I've already shown off like a few days ago on my other video. But this is the planner I made so far, and I'm gonna go back and also make like a burn variant here, which seems to be even stronger. But for now, I have like a few different versions here that I made as kind of like a high-end version. So the Harlequin Crest, for example, gives you like a lot of extra scaling resources, which goes into the aspect, and cooldown that helps with especially Inferno and teleports. So that is just very comfy. But overall, it's looking really good for a Hydra. So just for the memes, for example, I also did this, where I just took off all the gear, but the Serpentine aspect and the neck. And I was just clearing Torment 4 Nebulans like this. And actually not even that slowly. So that was kind of funny. With my 4K life and 0 armor and 0 rest, basically, I was able to relatively comfortably farm Torment 4 dungeons. So you can kind of see the power of this setup, even when you don't even have items equipped, basically. It's just kind of destroying stuff. So that is kind of funny to see, and I do expect that this is going to be one of the top tier builds outside of, okay, they might nerf this a little bit. Even the boss damage, for example, in the T490 dungeon with those 2 items equipped is actually not even that terrible. It takes like 10 seconds or something to take one boss down. So yeah, you can get away with very little on this build, and the Hydras are actually destroying stuff. And as I mentioned, this was not even like the right version of the build, because burn seems to be even stronger than that by probably a factor of 5 or more. Obviously, there's a bit more cooking to be done when it comes to the Sorc, but it is actually opening up a new playstyle now where we don't just have to go Lightning Spear. I do expect Lightning Spear to still be like a pretty dominant overall endgame build, just because it has this incredible speed and it flies through the maps and one-shots entire screens. So once you get to that power level where you have really good gear, even with the nerfs and even with the enlightenment bug fix and the overpower bug fix and so on, I expect Lightning Spear to be one of the top T4 and XP farmers in the game. But when it comes to like pushing, I guess it won't go as high as something like the new Hydra setup here. So this is probably one of the strongest Sorc builds now coming up in Season 9. That's also about it for this video here. I want to just show off real quick, if you're looking for any kind of planners, I've been cooking a lot in the lead up to the PDR. So I have all my Season 9 planners already here on the Discord. There's a lot of stuff I'm planning to test on all of the classes, especially Spiritborn is getting a lot of exciting stuff here, I think. So we'll see how that goes, but so far my first tests actually look really good there as well. And we can also see a return of Spiritborn most likely. But yeah, this is what I got here for the Hydra Sorc so far. Stay tuned for an update for the planner as well, because as I mentioned, we want to rework that a little bit to some more burning stuff, which I believe to be stronger. Other than that, I'm going to probably post like a full build guide when the season actually approaches after the final patch notes in like 4 weeks or so. So that's what I got here. Hope you enjoyed this and see you guys next time.